So for somebody who is introverted,
Yes. Oh,
and
yes.
you are like the idea of the spotlight being on you is your worst nightmare, but you do want to become more assertive, or you at least want people to look at you and go, she's confident, he's confident, they're an influential person.
Yes.
What's the body language that you can start to practice?
Okay, well, first of all, I write books for you because I believe your cues can speak for you.
Okay.
Introverts, your cues are even more important because you can use small micro cues non-verbally to speak for you, right? Okay, so for an introvert or anyone listening, you want to maximize the distance between your ear and your shoulder pretty much at all time, especially on video. Here is a classic mistake that I see all the time. Hey, everyone. Hi.
You're on Zoom and your shoulders,
are up your ears. Or you're waving hello with your shoulders up your ears. Or they walk into a date or they walk into a meeting. Morning. Your first impression is now little, small, defeated.
Here's the cue I want to give you as you're listening. If you are like, but I'm shy, but I am introverted, but I do feel awkward in those situations. I want you to think about middle school you, being terrified of seeing a group of cool kids.
Yeah.
And the badass powerhouse that we know that you are inside. And I want you to imagine that your friend Mel Robbins is on one side of you and your friend Vanessa Van Edwards is on the other side of you. And I want you to pull that body language together. That's what we're talking about. Because everybody can pull their shoulders back and drop them down and stand up taller or sit up taller.
That's it.
Okay.
And that one cue creates a loop. And here's what I want you to think about. If that's you thinking, oh my gosh, I'm scared, I am awkward, you can change the loop of your awkwardness with this one cue. Why? Is if you have your shoulders down and back, it signals to your brain, I'm taking up space, I'm claiming my space, which then tells your brain, okay, we're safe, we're okay. The reason why we hunch our shoulders is to protect our neck. That is why we're doing it.
That's why we do that?
Yes, it's an evolutionary cue. So if I turtle my neck down and I tilt my chin down and I hunch my shoulders up, my throat is more protected. That is a more protected gesture. So there's an evolutionary reason why we do it. So if your shoulders are down and back, your head is held high, my jugular is showing, my brain says, we're safe. If you do the opposite, you're telling your brain, we are not safe, which then makes you have more cortisol, which shuts down your thinking, which makes you have dry mouth, which makes you blush, which makes you run out of oxygen, right? It creates all those awkwardness cues. So we can stop our awkward loops by simply changing our cues. So this is the first distance, is ear to shoulder.
I want to make sure you got that. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to follow along. As you're listening to us, as long as you're not driving a car, I want you to actually experience what Vanessa's talking about. So I want you to will you walk us through, like you take your chin and you point it down and you put your shoulders up.
Point your chin down as if you're checking your phone.
Yep.
Now hunch your shoulders up and then turtle your ears down so you're as small as possible so your jugular, your neck is protected. If you sit like this, you are going to begin to feel more awkward and uncomfortable. You're going to lose oxygen.
To breathe almost.
Yes. You're going to lose oxygen. You're going to have vocal fry. And here is the biggest aha of all. That is what everyone does when they check their phone. So accidentally, multiple times a day, you are putting yourself into defeat and shame body language. Accidentally. What are you doing before a date? Probably checking your phone. What are you doing before a presentation? Probably reviewing your phone. What are you doing before? So what I want you to do is check your phone differently.
How?
Okay, so when you're holding your phone, what I want you to do is up and out.
Up and out.
Up and out.
Up and out.
Right. So when I check my phone, especially before something important, I am not hunched over with my chin tucked in and my arms tucked tightly to my chest, which we're going to talk about in a second. I am up and out. So I'm claiming my space. My phone is up so that my chin is up. My jugular is still showing. If you check your phone like this, you feel so much more confident.
It's true. I don't have my phone with me, but if like
you can look at my babies. I think there's a good picture of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I've got it up like this,
and you can even put your elbow down on the table. That's okay.
True. And now I'm like bicep flex.
You're like, wow, look how powerful. You look so powerful.
Like,
Mel looks so
I'm like, I gotta pull my phone out here and check it.
That's it.
Wow. And also, like, you can still like text while you're doing that.
Or you can rest your arms on the table. That's okay too. Like you're still looking out, right?
Up and out.
Up and out.
I love that. Okay, you said something about our arms.
Okay, that's
what
the
else
next
are we
cue.
doing with our arms?
Okay, so first cue, ears to shoulders. Second cue, distance between your torso and your arms. Watch this. So if you're listening, I want you to pin your arms tightly to your side, and I want you to try to roll your chest in, and then I want you to cross your arms over your chest.
Like you're giving yourself like a little hug in front.
You will begin to feel like, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little anxious, I'm a little uncomfortable, you will actually speak in shorter sentences when you sit like this. You're more likely to say no. In research, they find that when you're in closed body languages, you are more likely to say no based on this body language.
This pose, if you're not watching on YouTube, is the kind of pose you would imagine somebody sitting in a gymnasium at a dance where they haven't been asked to dance.
Yes. And it
I'm literally like, wow, I could get attacked at any time right now.
That's it, because it's a protective gesture. These all come from for a reason, right? These body language cues are not made up. The reason why they're universal, not all body language is universal, but the cues we're going to talk about today are universal. It's because there's a reason from an evolutionary perspective why this happens. So if I'm worried about someone attacking me, I want to protect my vital organs. I want to not have my flanks exposed, and I want to take up as little space as possible so no one notices me. So we forget that when we're sitting in a meeting or we're going on a date or we're trying to psych ourselves out, we're sitting in the car and we're like, oh, I'm so nervous. We're actually creating a negative feedback loop for ourselves.
So what do we do with our arms?
Okay, so always, please make sure you are using a desk chair with armrests.
Okay.
So this chair is actually a little hard, right?
So, we're getting new chairs.
Do it.
They're higher arms too.
These are okay. We have small armrests.
You and I are both very tall.
We're
so
very
this
tall.
might
I
work.
know. So this is okay if you're a little bit shorter. It's okay. We have some. First of all, armrests immediately bring space. Now look at the difference between this
That's true.
and this.
And for you listening, all we're doing is moving our elbows out to the side. That's it.
So I'm actually okay. I know my mom would not be happy with me. I'm actually okay with elbows on the table if they're nice and broad. You can see space. I'm not trying to be protective. It actually broadens my chest, which gives me more oxygen, which allows me to have more vocal power. So I want you to always choose the chair with the armrest. Like when I go into pitches or I'm talking to a client, I always pick the chair with the armrest. I never pick the low slouchy couch.
I don't either.
Never.
You know why else I pick a chair with an armrest? Because I like to swivel.
Oh, the swivel
and
is
rock,
so good.
And I like to cock an elbow on the back of the chair.
That's so good.
Like
this is so good. So confident.
I'm like super relaxed.
You're a cowgirl. That's basically what that is, right? Like, yes. And so that is a confident gesture. You're claiming space.
Yep.
You have freedom of movement. The other reason why I love a swivel is because we should be fronting with whoever we're talking to.
Oh,
Right.
so by that, if you're listening again, you're seeing all this on the YouTube version of this episode, but if you are in a meeting and you're in a swivel chair, we want you to turn your chair and face the person who's actually talking.
Exactly. It is a nonverbal sign of respect when you swivel your chair towards them. You're literally saying, I'm going to angle my entire body to get on the same page as you. Tell me more. I'm aligned with you. And physically, from a research perspective, when we are aligned on the same parallel lines as someone else, we can see each other's body language better. We literally feel like we're on the same page. And so the swivel chair adds to that. And then if you can add armrests, that immediately broadens us. It immediately gives us more perceived and felt confidence.
You know what's super great also for someone, especially if you're listening and you're shy, you're introverted, you don't like the attention on you. These are nonverbal things you can do that, based on the research,
Yes.
demonstrate that you're confident, that you're influential, that you are respectful,
Yes.
that you are powerful despite the fact that you're not saying anything.
That's it.
What am I doing with my hands?
Okay, so they actually studied this. They took videotapes of leaders speaking, and they had participants rate the leaders on their charisma, specifically their gestures. And they had all kinds of gestures in these videos. They found there was one single gesture that people rated as the most charismatic, and it is, I call it the power pose for the hands. It is a steeple.
Okay.
So a steeple is when you touch the tops of your fingertips slightly together and you keep space between your palms. It is the most calm, broad gesture for your hand. You can do it with an armrest. You can do it on the table. Right now, just be careful. Don't drum. That's evil drumming. That's very Mr. Burns.
Okay,
You know,
so
a
now
Simpsons
you're not
reference.
tapping your
We're
fingers.
Not drumming. We're not drumming our fingers.
And
That's
if
very
you're
evil.
listening, everybody, and I want you to touch your pinky to your pinky, like literally make a triangle with your hands.
Just try this with me for a second.
Yeah.
It will actually make you feel more grounded when you do it.
It's almost like you got like superpower running from one hand to the other hand. You're like, zzz, you know, just as
And
you
the
put it there.
powers unite.
Correct.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So it's a very relaxed gesture. Now, whenever I teach a cue, there are 97 cues, right? Not every cue is going to work for you. That's okay. I recommend, please try it 3 times in 3 different situations. Try it in a meeting, try it on a Zoom call, try it on a date, try it with a friend. If you've tried it 3 different times with 3 different people and you still feel ridiculous, you might not want to use it, right? I don't want you to feel silly.
What's the second recommendation for your hands?
Second recommendation. So, okay, I love a steeple. The other one is a very small, little subtle gesture, but it's a cue of excitement. So leaders, highly effective people are cueing people around them to know how to feel. Cues tell others how they should treat us. So this one's my really good one. This one's my favorite.
What is it?
It's this.
Oh, you're rubbing your hands together.
Yes.
So literally just rubbing your hands together as you're talking.
So like when I'm about to say something, oh, this is really good. This is really exciting. Even that small little gesture should be like, ooh, this is going to be good. I don't know why. I think it's because we warm our hands this way. But a very subtle one is if you're about to share something good or tell someone, like, oh, this is such a good little story. That one little cue, it shows excitement. It triggers excitement. So you can often go from the this to the this.
You know what I just got as you were doing that?
What?
It's almost like, that's the motion you make when you're swiveling a stick to do a fire.
Make a fire. Oh, yes. So it's
So
like
like
literally
it's
generating heat.
Yes.
We're
That's
literally-
so cool is what you're signaling.
We're generating conversational heat if you're going to go with the metaphor.
Wow.
Now, the common line really, the bigger takeaway here is visible hands.
Okay.
So every gesture I could teach you is visible hands. It's a palm flash. It's a steeple. Visible is bare minimum. So highly effective people, they claim space with their shoulders and their arms. They have their hands visible because they want to show intention. Some gestures communicate 400% more information. Like if I were to say 3, you're more likely to believe my 3 than if I were to say 3 and hold up 5. So we just believe hands more often. So if I were to say I have 3 really important things to tell you,
I'm looking at your
gonna be
hands.
like, it's
So
5,
and she's
Vanessa.
holding up as you're listening at all 5. Well, is your thumb a finger? Like, I don't even know. It's like you're like all 5 fingers.
yes, a thumb is a finger.
Okay.
Yes. By the way, hold up 5, but say 3.
3.
Horrible.
You just
Can't do it.
It doesn't. I'm trying to do it as you're listening. Why don't
it,
you try to do it
So
while you're
everyone
listening?
say, I have 3 ideas, but hold up 5.
I have
3
3
ideas. Horrible.
Horrible.
Why? It
I
is
don't know.
I know. I'm going to tell you. That was a rhetorical question. I'm going to tell you. I was asking why to myself. So here's why. Is because it is very hard to lie with gesture. We are very used to lying with our words. And so it's very easy to say 3, 5, easy. It is very hard to lie with gesture. So if I were to say I have a really big idea and I were to hold up my hands like this and a very small, like I'm holding a little dime or a penny, you would say, Vanessa, it's small. So our brain subconsciously knows this. We are more likely to believe a gesture over a word.
Interesting.
That is why highly competent people are so good with their gestures, is they're basically signaling to you, I believe in my content so much. I know my stuff so well that I can speak to you on 2 tracks.
Mouth and hands.
Yes. And so another kind of expert levels bottom is keep them visible. Keep your hands visible, out of pockets above the desk, right? I like to greet hands first. Second is, can you be explanatory? Can you add a punctuation or an underline or a highlight? If you're going to say that you have a big idea, show me how big it is. Is it beach ball big?
So for you listening, I really want you to get this. You might want to check out the YouTube version so that you can watch this. But as she was saying, big idea, she literally held her hands out to be demonstrative with her hands. And it does communicate
Underlines.
belief. And it's like you're right. It's like taking a highlighter with your meat mitts.
That's it.
And just being like, here we go.
Yes.
I believe in this.
And it's purposeful, right? So it's not just gestures for the sake of gestures where I'm just jazz handsing it.
Yeah.
It's like underlining purposefully. It's like giving someone an outline.
That's so cool.
Here's a classic mistake that I see all the time. Hey, everyone.
You're on Zoom and your
And
shoulders,
your shoulders
are
are up your ears. Morning. Your first impression is now little, small, defeated.